Hello everyone, this is Stevo. He's agreed to come on our social media channels to talk about the afterlife. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
All right, well thank you. So what is your thoughts about the afterlife, Stevo?
So my thoughts when it comes to the afterlife is very interesting. So I believe there is something. I believe that we as humans don't have the idea of what the afterlife is. I know that when you look at, like, for example, the Egyptians, they were very obsessed with the afterlife. I think that it comes down to what we do now with the time we have, because money will come, money will go, but your time, you'll never get back. It's like a river that's constantly flowing. And I think that as long as you're willing to put other people first and help out whenever you can, and you're not trying to beat on your chest and sit here and worry about this, that, and the other, that you'll have a pretty good afterlife, especially depending on how you look at it. I know there's references within the Bible, and different religions talk about different things and different aspects of what could possibly happen within the afterlife. So I think it comes down to what we do with the time we have to the now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So do you believe that there's a heaven and a hell in the afterlife?
So, yeah.
Okay.
In simple terms, yes. I do believe that there is some sort of heaven and some sort of hell. I think as people, it's just really hard for us to comprehend and understand it. For example, a lot of people will sit here and say, when it comes, for example, like Christianity, right? Oh, well, how do you know that Jesus rose from the dead? Well, they didn't have doctor manuscripts and all that stuff during their time. And so you have to take what the Bible is at face value. And so when it comes to that, I think that there's a lot of good clues and a good direction. And I think that people should have some sort of religion. It doesn't matter if it's Christian, Buddhism, Muslim, whatever. As long as you're practicing something and you're being kind to other people, I believe that it will all equal out in the end, because your good tones will attend for everything that you've done wrong. And even then, God is not forgetful, what's the right word? Forgive. He's very forgiving.
Okay.
Especially if you repent and you actually attend for what it is that you've done wrong. And so I think that when it comes to the afterlife, that there's a good blueprint on how to be able to get there. I think that once you get there, you're going to be greeted with open arms, and it's going to be more than what you can imagine and fathom, because us as humans, we're only able to use 10% of our logical brain, because it's like the energy grid, right? The more energy you use, the more hot and everything that happens, and eventually your brain will melt. And so I think as we develop as humans, we'll eventually gain a better understanding of what the afterlife is and how it affects us as humans. One of my questions is, what happens to you when you die? What I mean by that is for example, if you get cremated and you're in the afterlife, do you feel that pain even though you're not attached to your physical body? Or do you feel the cold if you're laying on a slab? So those are things that I'm curious about, because how we treat our bodies now, could that affect how we live in the afterlife and what we feel, even if we're not connected to our physical body? Or is it just one of those, you're numb, you don't feel anything?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say for sure, and I don't think the Bible explains that, but I think the body is just a shell that we have been given to interact with this physical realm. But as far as heaven and hell go, how do I get to heaven? How How is it possible for me, if it was up to you, how am I going to get to heaven?
Well, if you wanted to get to heaven, let me ask this: are you talking right now in your physical body, or just in general?
No, in this plane of existence. If I'm dying, I've got 30 seconds or 2 minutes and 30 seconds to live, and I ask you, how can I make sure I'm going to heaven? What are you going to tell me?
I'm going to tell you that, hey, it's going to be okay. What happens, happens. And I'm going to help you out with your time of need and do everything that I can to try and save you. And just encourage you that, hey, it's okay. You know, if you know that this is your time, for example, war is a good example. War is violent, it's nasty. You go into a combat zone and you don't know if you're going to make it out or alive. Your body is prepared.